Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi there. You can call me Guy. I'm another one from Garberville. I can barely hear you on the phone.
Okay, well, Karen, what's your question, caller?
You mentioned glyphosate earlier in your talk. I wanted to talk specifically about that. I've had some recent unfortunate exposure due to an employment that I had of some pretty highly concentrated stuff. And once exposed, what would you recommend to possibly prevent any prolonged effects from the exposure?
Yeah, I'm not too sure of its toxicology. Apparently, when you look at the monograph for glyphosate, it seems, quote-unquote, readily excreted and rapidly excreted. So in terms of actually protecting somebody who's been exposed to it, I would imagine that any of the routes of elimination, either through the urine or the feces, you'd imagine that increasing that digestive output, the output from the digestive tract, if you swallowed it or you've absorbed it through your skin, either through the kidneys or through the bowels, supporting that would be important. And then obviously my mind goes to things like liver and supportives, for the liver, things like milk thistle and schizandra, other detoxifying.
You had mentioned dandelion too, and what was?
Well, that was in relation to the previous. Mentioned? That was in relation to the previous call about digestion, and dandelion root has traditionally been used to promote bile in the liver or in storage in the gallbladder, so that when it's needed, it's released and fats can be emulsified. So that's dandelion.
Okay, so that's not necessarily applicable.
Not really. No, I would imagine more speeding up the process of elimination by supporting the gut and the urinary output. And supporting.
Okay, and would that apply to? Would you think like most other chemical toxins, like
pretty much
2,4-D, for instance?
Yeah, pretty much, because essentially they have to be excreted somehow in order to rid yourself of it. But unfortunately, some of these things are taken up by the bone marrow or sequestered elsewhere in the system, in tissues, or fat especially is a quote-unquote good source of these toxins. And we mentioned in the past things like the polyunsaturates are readily taken up by the fat cells and released later on to cause the damage. But Dr. P, do you have any... how would you want to go about it, perhaps, if you knew somebody had been exposed to high levels of a toxin like this? What would your approach to elimination be?
A lot of the insecticides and herbicides are oil-soluble, such as 2,4-D.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But glyphosate, luckily, is water-soluble. But it comes in the products, Roundup and Touchdown, I think they are.
Brushmaster, and what if you mix 2,4-D with diesel fuel?
It's still oil soluble.
Yeah, but when it gets in your body, it tends to stay in your brain and fat. The oil in your body. And glyphosate, luckily, even though it is a nerve transmitter disruptor, it luckily is not oil soluble. So it leaves the body quickly, but it leaves behind damage such as genetic damage, mitochondrial damage, and nerve disruption. So I think if you think that you have accumulated some of the chemicals that were in Roundup or Touchdown other than the glyphosate, then things that will turn over your fat metabolism safely. Adding vitamin E, for example, protects you as you detoxify the fats.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a matter of keeping your energy up so that you can restore the slightly injured mitochondria, nerves, kidneys, whatever were affected as the glyphosate passed through.